Hello.
Hello.
Tom Boswick made me late.
I understand. Well, it's good to have you, Councilman Cat. Okay. You ready, Councilman Cat?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No.
Tom Boswick
Okay.
made me late.
Okay. He does that from time to time. But
Yeah.
all right. Legislative day number 7 will now come to order. Please pause for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. I will now call upon Councilman David Marks, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge.
There we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Councilman Marks.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of March the 15th, 2021?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The journal is approved. Enrollment of bills. Bill 1221 was passed by the council and signed by the executive and hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. There are a number of bills. There are 8 emergency bills. These bills have been requested to be introduced by the administration this evening and will be, the work session will be on April 13th with a final vote on these bills at the April 19th meeting. First is Bill 2321, current expense budget, COVID mass vaccination CARES emergency measure. Bill 24-21, current expense budget, FEMA emergency protective measures, emergency measure. Bill 25-21, State Relief Act grant, online sales and telework emergency measure. Bill 2621, State Relief Act grant, restaurants emergency measure. Bill 27-21, State Relief Act grant, hotels emergency measure. Bill 28-21, State Relief Act grant, tourism emergency measure. Bill 29-21, emergency broadband education assistance. And Bill 30-21, CDBG COVID-19 fund, ESG COVID-19 fund.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, and then the rest are as follows. Bill 31-21, Personnel Law of Baltimore County. Bill 32-21, 2021 Basic Services Maps. Bill 33-21, Government Reorganization, Department of Public Works and Transportation. Bill 34-21, the Department of Housing and Community Development. Bill 35-21, addition to the Baltimore County landmarks list. Bill 36-21, planned unit developments, extension of time for state of emergency. And then the final bill for intro this evening is Bill 37-21, development review and approval. Wait a minute.
Yeah, Mr. Boswick, I'm going to delay that.
No, yeah, that shouldn't have been on there. I'm sorry, Mr. Marks.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
The council will now consider all bills for final reading and vote. Mr. Secretary, first bill, please.
First is Bill 13-21, current expense budget, general fund, Office of Budget and Finance.
Mr. Blade?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. The administration is requesting the approval of a supplemental appropriation from unassigned general fund balance in the amount of $25 million for other post-employment benefits, also known as OPEB. Forecasted revenue shortfalls in the development of the FY 2021 operating budget force reductions throughout the county. One reduction was to the fund for the OPEB contribution, where we funded it at the FY 2020 appropriation level of 35 million, which is roughly 70 to 100 million below the PAYGO amount needed to fund the annual benefit costs. The administration is implementing a multi-year strategy to reach PAYGO funding. Without action, our consultant, Bolton Partners, forecasts that the OPEB fund will run out of money in FY 2025. Since many revenue shortfalls forecasted last year were not realized, and the county received nearly 50 million more in income taxes than forecasted, the administration is requesting authority to increase the FY 2021 appropriation to the OPEB fund to help us continue our strategy to reach the PAYGO funding.
Thank you very much, Mr. Blades. Are there any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go right ahead, Councilman.
So, Mr. Blades, is this a net neutral action?
What do you mean by net neutral?
Meaning that there is no additional, I think you said that we received additional funds and that's being applied to OPEB?
That's correct. We received higher revenues for income taxes than originally forecasted when we developed FY 21. So we want to apply some of those revenues to help us make gains in the funding of the OPEB fund.
Gotcha. So thank you for that clarification. It does sound like it's net neutral to the tax, to our incoming tax base.
Yes, it is. We're not pulling this out of fund balance. This is additional revenues that were not forecasted for FY 21.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go right ahead, Councilman Cat.
catch, okay. Ed, okay, once this $25 million is transferred, what is the status then of the OPEB fund?
This will increase our FY 21 contribution to $60 million. And as far as funding the liabilities, I think the current estimate is that we will be around 5 to 6% funded. We still have quite a ways to go. Our annual appropriation should be between $110, $130 million. And we really need to, we are slowly building it back up to that amount, and then we'll continue on beyond it to reach eventually by, our forecast is by 2050 to reach 100% of the funded liability.
So I assume that next year, since we're short this year, that the future payments will be projected to be higher.
Our strategy is to increase it each year. And we still have another week yet in funding budget formulation. And so the goal is, yes, to continue it. Next year, we will fund it at the 60 million at a minimum, if not higher, but I don't have a set dollar amount yet. That's kind of like the last thing that gets wrapped up as we do the budget process.
Thank you very much.
Any additional questions? Mr. Secretary, please call a roll on Bill 1321.
Mr. Quirk,
Yes.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 14-21, Fire Prevention Code of Baltimore County.
Chief Marcus Johnson and Chief Rum.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, evening, sir.
Good evening.
Right. So, Bill 14-21 is the Baltimore County Fire Prevention Code. As you are aware, we're required to update our codes triannually, so every 3 years. We are 1 year off just due to COVID, so we need to bring it up to code to get in line with the Maryland State Fire Prevention Code. The biggest change within it is going to be the elimination of the waiver system for residential high rises with respect to the implementation of a fire suppression system, specifically a automatic sprinkler system. Currently, we only have 3 buildings in Baltimore County that are not protected, but with the implementation of this bill, it will allow 12 years for them to get caught up. We really want to push this now because with the next code cycle, it's projected that it's going to reduce that time frame down to 9 years, and then to 6 years, and then to 3, ultimately until immediate compliance is met. We are working with some resources to provide for the affected districts. So I believe that information will be passed along as well. If anyone has any questions for me, please, I would love to answer them for you.
Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you, Chief Johnson, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Chief Johnson, and thank you, Chief Rund. I received this afternoon your contact from the National Sprinkler Association in regard to my concerns about the high rises. I think it was 7 Slade and
11 Slade, I believe.
And 11 Slade, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Both in the 2nd district. So I appreciate your follow-up on that. So thank you all very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, any additional questions or comments? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 1421.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Bill 14-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next is Bill 15-21, Current Expense Budget, Police Wellness Initiatives Grant.
Good evening.
My good friend Colonel Delp.
Good evening, Council Chairperson and Council members. The Baltimore County Police Department this is for the Baltimore County Police Department. A supplemental appropriation in the amount of $45,000 has been made to the Baltimore County Police Department by the Coronavirus Emergency Supplement Funding Program through the Governor's Office of Crime Prevention and Control. This request is for Council's approval to accept and appropriate the $45,000 in funding. The Police Wellness Initiative Grant will be utilized by the department to invest in a wellness application for smartphones to proactively support officer wellness and provide confidential self-assessments and service connections for times of crisis. Licensing this wellness application for use of officers' existing cell phones will provide on-demand access to professional services and training in a private confidential setting on a 24/7, 365-day basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Sounds like it's an excellent program and an excellent investment. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 15-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Bill 15-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next bill, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 16-21, Current Expense Budget, General Fund, Department of Public Works.
Okay, again, I'll call on Mr. Blades.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. The administration is requesting the approval of a supplemental appropriation from unassigned general fund balance in the amount of $2.6 million for the Department of Public Works. The appropriation will be distributed as follows. $1.3 million for storm emergencies to offset expenditures that exceeded the budget due to the 2020-2021 winter storm season. $800,000 to cover the costs associated with Wheelabrator Baltimore settlement to resume sending solid waste to the Bresco facility, and $500,000 for the material recycling facility in Cockeysville. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the county suspended the use of detention center inmates for processing materials. Doing so required that we hire temporary staff to continue to the recycling operations.
Thank you, Mr. Blades.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Blades. I understand there is an amendment. Mr. Secretary? You're muted.
Yes, there is an amendment, Mr. Chairman. The amendment changes the dollar amount from $5 million to $1.3 million.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the amendment to Bill 16-21? I'll move it.
I'll,
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to Bill 16-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Mark,
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The amendment to Bill 16-21 is passed. Are there any additional questions or comments from the members?
Mr. Chair, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes,
I have a
Councilman.
question. Ed, why the severe change in the fiscal note? What was dropped or? what's
Well,
going on?
when you do supplemental appropriations take 2 council meetings. So when we put this together, it was February. We were getting hit pretty good with a bunch of storms. So as we got closer to the council meetings, it was evident that we were getting through it. The weather was changing. So instead of $5 million for storm emergencies, we reduced it to the 1.3.
So that's what, where this.
That was the change. We reduced the storm
Change is.
emergencies. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve Bill 16-21?
So moved.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 16-21 as amended.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins.
Aye.
Mr. Secretary, please stop making Mr. Catch late.
Yes, sir.
The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on March 30th. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. If a council member has any questions regarding a particular fiscal matter, that item will be discussed as a separate matter. I will now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 4. Muted.
I'm muted again. Gee. Fiscal matter 1 is a contract with Honeywell International Incorporated, XBS Building Management Control System Maintenance. Fiscal matter 2 is actually 3 contracts for on-call landscaping services. Fiscal matter 3 is 6 contracts for roll-off container rentals for community cleanup program. And fiscal matter 4 is a contract of sale for 6115 Falls Road Professional Center LLC for the acquisition of a drainage utility easement.
Thank you, Mr. Boswick. Obviously, we all are very excited and happy with the roll-off dumpster program. It's been very helpful and very popular. Are there any questions or comments from the members?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a question about the landscape contracts. Ms. Schindel, you continue to do outstanding work in property management. I want to thank you for the landscaping you did at Sukup Arena. Looks great. We had a really spirited discussion on the council, I guess 3 or 4 years ago, about the grass cutting along median strips and, along highways and parks. And we're approaching the time of the year where we're going to be getting a lot of complaints about this. There's 53 locations. Can you just give me a flavor as to what locations are included in this contract?
Yes, sir. Thank you for asking. Median strips are actually not part of this contract. That is
Okay, I
a
thought so.
separate contract, and DPW does some and we do some. So if you'd like, I would gladly share with you all of the sites that we do that are done every month, and I would be glad to share that with you.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And again, thank you for the good work you're doing, but we're all going to get a lot of questions about this very soon as grass starts growing. So I was just curious. So thank you for that information.
No problem. I'll send that to everyone tomorrow so that you can have what we're responsible for and how frequently it gets mowed when it comes to median strip.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome,
Thanks.
sir.
Ms. Schindler, you're always very responsive, and it's always good to see you. Are there any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the fiscal matters 1 through 4?
I move.
And second,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 4.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Catch.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Fiscal matters 1 through 4 are approved. We'll now consider,
Mr. Chair,
yes, go right ahead, Councilman Katz.
no, it's Bevins.
Oh, Councilwoman Bevins.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
I'm sorry, my dog was having a moment. I needed to ask a question 2 minutes ago. Mr. Blades,
Mr. Blades?
Yes, ma'am.
when you talked about the inmates being pulled out of Eastern landfill because of COVID,
Yes.
does that mean they're going to be put back on the county roadways for trash pickup?
I have not been part of any conversations related to that, so I don't have an answer for you right now.
Can you check on that, because it's really needed? And I don't know if it's the winds, recycling, but some of our roadways are really a mess. And what's happens this time of year is, now that the growth starts, the grass grows and the new bushes, and it just covers the trash up. And this would be the perfect time over the next 2 weeks to get the trash up off our county roadways. We had received several messages from people really, complaining about that. And again, I don't know if it's people throwing it down or it's flying off the trucks or the wind, but everyone has noticed that it hasn't been on a regular cycle.
I'll certainly look into it and follow up with you.
Okay, thank you. My apologies, Mr. Chair.
Oh, no apology necessary, Councilwoman Bevins. We'll now consider all miscellaneous business. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Whenever a contract over $25,000 is awarded by a process other than formal competitive bid, a copy of that contract must be given to the council and must be announced at the next legislative session day following award of the contract. This evening, there are 5 such contracts or purchase orders. The first is with Multicorp Incorporated, Porter Services Fairgrounds Vaccine Center, total award of $26,041.50. Next is Compass Group USA, doing business as Chartwell's Dining Services, Grocery Boxes, Heart Healthy, COVID-19, an additional award total of $112,500. Next is Go2Go LLC, Restroom Trailer, Portable COVID-19 Test Vaccine Sites, $95,352. Next is Worldwide Distributors Incorporated, doing business as Elighting for for surgical masks and for children's masks, 3-ply level 111 for BCPS, $100,150. And finally, Compass Group USA, doing business as Chartwell's Dining Services, boxed meals for homeless outreach during COVID-19. The additional award total for that is $40,000.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next item, please.
Next is Resolution 34-21. This is a resolution to rank the 5 Rural Legacy Area Plan applications.
Thank you. Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Steve Lafferty on behalf of the Department of Planning. The Department of Planning requests an approval of County Council Resolution 34-21 to approve and prioritize 5 FY22 Rural Legacy Area applications that have been submitted to the Maryland Rural Legacy Program. We're proud that all 5 of these Rural Legacy initiatives in the county have been very successful to date, working with landowners. And with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask Megan Benjamin, who heads that program, to provide a few more details.
Of course, Ms. Benjamin.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of council. As Director Lafferty mentioned, we are requesting your approval of this ranking of the rural legacy areas. The Rural Legacy Program is a state-funded program with the purpose to combat sprawl development and expedite the preservation of large blocks of natural resources and working landscapes. And the state requires local jurisdictions with more than 2 rural legacy areas to rank them. The department ranked the applications based on factors including completion of projects, environmental protection, public benefits, development threat, and sponsor input. And the recommended ranking order is Piney Run, followed by Gunpowder Valley, Manor, and a tie for 4th for the coastal, Baltimore County Coastal Rural Legacy Area and Long Green Valley. And the county ranking will be incorporated into the state selection process.
Thank you, Ms. Benjamin. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution 34-21? I'll move it.
Second,
It's been moved and
second,
seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 34-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
aye,
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
aye,
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution 34-21 is passed. Thank you, Mr. Lafferty and Mrs. Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Mr. Chairman, next is Resolution 35-21. This is a resolution at the request of the administration for the council to approve a continuation of the state of emergency pursuant to the initial executive order number 2020-002. I believe Mr. Phillips is going to describe this.
Yes. Resolution 3521, like Mr. Boswick said, is a continuation of the state of emergency originally declared on March 13th, 2020. The council has approved authorizations for the continuation of this state of emergency in resolutions 4720, 5220, 7120, 7820, 9020, 10220, 11920, 13520, 15220, 1021, 2420, which is the most recent one. That resolution is set to expire on April 5th, today. This current resolution, 3521, declares that the state of emergency is likely to continue beyond April 5th and authorizes the continuation of the state of emergency for an additional 30 days, which will end on May 5th, or until the county executive declares the end to the state of emergency, whichever comes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillip. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to bring up the 2 issues just because my constituents continue to express concerns. The continued closure of Sukup Arena, which was heavily financed by the Perry Hall Recreation Council. And the other issue, and I'm sure the administration is working on this, confusion from some of my parade organizers about their ability to get permits for the 4th of July parades. Hopefully we're at a point where we can have these parades this year, and I promised them that I would bring this up. So I appreciate the administration's attention to both those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Marks.
Councilman Marks, I'll follow up with you on those and get you responses.
Yeah, and I should have raised them privately. I'm sorry, but I did promise my constituents I'd bring that up, and I appreciate you looking at that.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve resolution 35-21?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just one comment before we go to vote. I read today on April 5th, on the date of the expiration of the state of emergency, that 39 of the 50 states in the United States of America are headed in the wrong direction in terms of COVID infections. And so I would say that we all still need to remain vigilant on this because we're not out of the woods yet. There are encouraging signs, but with the holidays just behind us and a fourth peak that seems to have occurred, that we encourage everyone to keep this in mind as we vote to continue the state of emergency.
Thank you, Councilman Patoka. Is there a motion to approve Bill 35-21?
I move motion.
It's second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 35-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
No.
The ayes have it. Resolution 35-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 36-21. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Quirk to authorize the property tax refund to Ms. Roberta Snowden, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
Happy to move it.
I'll second it. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 36-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 36-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 37-21. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Patoka and authorizes the property tax refund to Charles John Black III, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It is with honor that I move this motion forward.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 37-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Resolution 37-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 38-21 is a resolution sponsored by Chairman Jones to authorize a property tax refund to Sterling Fleming Sr., who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
A second.
Moved and second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 38-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 38-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 39-21 is also sponsored by Chairman Jones and authorizes the property tax refund. Authorizes the property tax refund. I think I skipped one. That was 39-21 that you just did.
We just did 38-21. We're on 39-21 now.
Right, but the person who I named was actually 39 inadvertently, so I apologize for that. So we did just do 39. We are going to do 38. Resolution 38-21 is also sponsored by Chairman Jones and authorizes the property tax refund to Mr. Dwayne Jackson, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law. My apologies.
No apologies necessary. It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution 38-21.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 38-21 is approved. Do we now do 39-21 again?
Well, we did do it just
Okay.
in the, and I think I rehabilitated the number.
Okay, no problem.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 40-21. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Marks and authorizes the property tax refund to Brandon Darby, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
My honor to move the resolution.
I'll second it. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 40-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 40-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 41-21. This resolution is sponsored by Councilwoman Bevins and authorizes the property tax refund to Terica Duncan, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
Is there a motion to approve it? Ms. Bevins?
I'll move it.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 41-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Resolution 41-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 42-21. This resolution is sponsored by Chairman Jones and and authorizes the property tax refund to Robert Jones, who is entitled to a refund as a disabled veteran under state law.
And no relations to me, as I understand. It is my honor and privilege to move the resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 42-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Yes.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution 42-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Resolution 43-21 is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Patoka to authorize the property tax refund to Jasmine A. Andrews, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It is my honor to move this motion forward.
There a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Second.
Mr. Secretary,
Second.
please call the roll on Resolution 43-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Affirmative.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
All votes are in affirmative. Therefore, Mr. Secretary, please call the next item, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Next is Resolution 44-21. This resolution is sponsored by Chairman Jones and authorizes the property tax refund to Hakeem Henderson, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 44-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution 44-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, coming to the home stretch, Resolution 45-21, also sponsored by Chairman Jones, authorizes the property tax refund to Mr. David Peterson, who as a disabled veteran is entitled to a refund under state law.
It's my honor and privilege to move the resolution. Is there a second? It's been seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll for Resolution 45-21.
Mr. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Quirk,
Aye.
Mr. Patoka,
Aye.
Mr. Catch,
Looks like his
Aye.
spinning. There he is.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
Mrs. Bevins,
Aye.
Mr. Marks.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution 45-21 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Mr. Chairman, next is Resolution 46-21. This resolution is sponsored by Councilman Marks and requests the Planning Board to review the minimum width requirement for townhouses and group houses for introduction only this evening.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 47-21. This is a resolution sponsored by Councilman Patoka, and this calls for the approval of the further review of a planned unit development known as the Woodholm Country Club Incorporated.
Thank you. Mr.
Oh,
Secretary.
for introduction only this evening. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Secretary, is there any further business to come before the council this evening?
There's no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned. As is customary, we normally allow people to come in and offer testimony after the meetings. We don't have any speakers this evening, so that'll conclude our evening. Isn't that correct, Chris?
That is correct, Chairman.
Thank you very much, everyone. Be safe and enjoy the weather and